The failings of Russia's military strategy in Ukraine have been laid bare by in-depth analysis. Last week, Russia announced they would be pulling soldiers out of the area surrounding Kiev and relocating them to the east of the country. However, recent intelligence suggests a full week later, none of the soldiers who had been pulled back have re-entered the fray. Incisive analysis by Philip O'Brien, professor of strategic studies at University of St. Andrews, suggests Russian troops are suffering from severe fatigue as their supply lines problems reach breaking point. Speaking via Twitter, Mr. O'Brien said, "The reality of redeploying a defeated and exhausted army is now becoming apparent to those who talked about the Russians redeploying their Kiev forces to the Donbass. It's now been a week since Russian forces were almost all out of Kiev and Chernihiv." According to an assessment by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, released yesterday, Russia is still working to establish the necessary logistical bases to continue their assault on eastern Ukraine. It adds that the soldiers withdrawn from Kiev have yet to re-enter the war. Even when the soldiers are ready to return, the logistical difficulties that have plagued Russia since the war commenced are set to continue. Satellite imagery from Maxar Technologies shows enormous Russian supply lines stretching across huge expanses of road. Mr. O'Brien had previously stated that Ukraine's weather was presenting an issue for Russia, with rain showers rendering fields muddy and difficult to navigate. This has funneled Russian troops down roads, with Mr. O'Brien arguing, if they can be rested and refitted, they will need a significant period to deploy into Ukraine, as the road system is still working against them. Russia is suffering a constant drip of losses, making small gains, and instead of building up massive force for one effort, feeding forces more slowly over a poor road network. Earlier today the ISW tweeted that they believed Russia will likely continue ongoing offensive operations in the Donbass region, feeding reinforcements into the fight as they become available rather than gathering reinforcements and replacements for a more coordinated and coherent offensive. Mr. O'Brien was quick to dismiss this strategy as idiotic. He said, if this is actually what Russia ends up doing, they are strategically bankrupt and haven't learned a thing. Just drip-feeding forces as they become available is a recipe for Russian failure. This latest information on Putin's strategy also explains why Ukraine's defense minister has been primarily requesting long-range weapons from Western allies. Such weapons would allow them to further exploit Russia's supply chain weaknesses and help prevent Ukrainian cities from being surrounded. Earlier today President Volodymyr Zelensky further emphasized the importance of heavy weapons to help Ukraine's war effort. He said, "We have destroyed more Russian military equipment than some countries in Europe currently possess." He went on to ask the West for heavy artillery, armored vehicles, air defense systems and combat aircrafts. Such equipment also serves Ukraine well by protecting its troops and keeping them from having to engage Russian forces head-on, weakening Putin's ability to bring his numbers advantage to bear.